Hey everyone, it's Eric Jensen here for some more sports talk. Sorry I missed last week. My phone was sort of funny, but it's okay. So breaking news, the college football playoff rankings are out. They've got Tennessee in number 1, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, then Michigan, Alabama, TCU, Oregon, USC, LSU rounding out the top 10. Let me just dive right in, say what they got right, what they got wrong. I think Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia, that you can mix up any way you want. Doesn't really matter who's 1, 2, 3 right now. Clemson and Michigan, I would have flip-flopped. I think Michigan has looked a lot better. I don't think they've played much different of schedules. Clemson hasn't played all that difficult of a schedule. Neither is Michigan, but, Michigan has, destroyed Penn State. Clemson survived Syracuse and Wake Forest. Pick who you want. I don't think Syracuse is that good. Anyways, so I would have Michigan as 4, and then Clemson. And then, in fact, I probably would have TCU ahead of Clemson. Actually, I'd have probably Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia in any way, then Michigan, Clemson, Michigan, TCU, then Clemson. Then comes the one losses. I'm okay putting Alabama. They sort of have the benefit of the doubt there. And then I like somewhat of what they do. I definitely would put Oregon next, and then I put USC there. And then next, I would put UCLA, rounding up the top 10. They have LSU way too high. LSU shouldn't be ranked that high, and I think you'll see them drop. Mississippi should be up there, and K-State and Utah right up there. The other one-loss teams are Illinois and North Carolina. I heard some people say, no, they should be ranked higher. No, they maybe, but they're not that good. I wouldn't bother. If they went out, then fine, put them up higher. But as for right now, I think they're good, 15, 16 in that range. So let's get into some of the action of the last game. There was the USC game that I want to talk about and dive into. USC's defense just was not there. But they were so injured, it was ridiculous. And they were playing around with dime packages. They were putting defensive linemen out as linebacker. It was interesting to see. It was more effective in the first half. I didn't like some of the calls that Lincoln Riley made in the game. I didn't like when he went for the very long field goal. I actually didn't like when he took timeouts. Now, at the end of the first half, when Arizona had the ball, it worked out because USC got the ball back, and then they should have got points off of that drive if it wasn't for the incompetence of the refs. Pac-12 refs, there's a reason why USC needs to leave the Pac-12. I like the Pac-12 more than any other conference. I like the teams in it, but it is a joke, and they have got to do something. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to have clock errors. So what I'm talking about at the end, USC's driving. They get a first down at about the 6-yard line or so. And so the clock should stop until it's set for play. Well, the clock starts running, and the ref hasn't even put the ball down until zeros are on the clock. And fine, those mistakes happen. But you have review. You can go review it and say, oh, whoops, my bad. The clock should start on my signal. Well, put 6 seconds back on the clock. Wind it on my signal, and then get that play. But no, the Pac-12 refs are so incompetent, they couldn't even do that. On the offensive side of things, USC is humming right now, and it didn't matter that they were out, wide receivers and offensive linemen. They look very good. Very good. I don't want them to have to go into a shootout every week. So hopefully they get the linebackers back. I think the game would be quite a bit different had they had their starting linebackers in there. I just have a feeling they would be able to cover those guys a little bit more. I mean, Arizona was making ridiculous catches. I mean, sometimes they were well defended and they were just making one-handed grabs. There's nothing you can do about that. But there were sometimes you wanted to be able to get to the quarterback and actually sack him. Arizona's quarterback was just moving and shifting enough that we would run right by him when we actually would get pressure on him. So that was unfortunate. I think a couple of plays different, and it's a blowout like we thought it would. Brendan Rice, he's got to start catching it like his dad. He had a few crucial drops, and he's had some drops. So I mean, hopefully he'll continue to improve. I think he will. He made some great. I mean, the grab he had in the back of the end zone was amazing. So he's got the talent there. We just want to see some more consistency with his catching, and there's not much else to say. I mean, Caleb Williams is looking like a magician back there. He's doing great. Other games of note in the weekend, Tennessee destroyed Kentucky. That was not surprising to me. Kentucky, again, a lot of these SEC teams, and you see it in the college playoff rankings, they're getting benefit of the doubt for having just playing in the SEC. Not that they're actually all that good of teams. You look at Tennessee's schedule, and they get lots of credit for beating Florida. Well, Florida hasn't beaten anyone. They get lots of credit for beating Kentucky. What's Kentucky's big win? I don't know. You just go down the list, and some of these teams aren't as good as we think they are. I think they're more a lot of the SEC teams are a lot like Washington State. I think Washington State is a good team. Not a great team, a good team. A team that could win whenever, but is missing something, as shown when they couldn't beat Utah, which was a big game. Utah, managing to win without Cam Rising in there, that was big. Oregon took care of business. BYU is a mess. I don't know what their problem is. They're just not looking good. Other big things, Ole Miss beating Texas A&M. That was impressive. It was impressive how they held on to do that. Again, I think Ole Miss is a very good team. I don't think they're quite at the capability of some of the others. I think they'll get exposed when they play Alabama, for example. Of course, Alabama is very good, so that wouldn't be a big surprise. But the big games coming up this weekend, we've got Georgia and Tennessee, of course. We've got USC and Cal. So USC needs to heal up. They need to hopefully get some help here. Other news going on in college football, Auburn fires their head coach. I still think of all the jobs that are open right now, which we've got, we've got Auburn, Nebraska, I'm trying to think who else has fired their head coach. There's another big one, and I'm drawing a blank on it. Yeah, I'm not going to think of it. They fired him right off the bat, and I'm not thinking of who it was. Oh, anyways, I think Auburn and Nebraska are the two biggest ones. I would prefer Nebraska than Auburn. And Auburn is in a tricky situation right now, being stuck in between Georgia and Alabama, and they give me the Nebraska job if I'm looking for a job. Now, Nebraska, the problem with that job is in the recruiting and trying to get players to go there, and you've been down for so long. You can't just say, oh, we're the Nebraska of old. So they've got to find someone that has an interesting system, something like Tennessee did when they got Heupel. You need to find someone that can do that sort of thing. They've got to entice recruits back into Lincoln. All right. I'm trying to think what else is going on. NFL is moving on. Not too much to talk there. And there's a couple good teams we've got the Philadelphia Eagles, we've got the Buffalo Bills, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's about the top of the league. And everyone else, other than the real bottom, it's all, they've got parity. They're all together. Anyways, World Cup starts this month. We're in November. That's crazy. So we'll dig into the World Cup here soon. We'll dig into the college football games coming up this week and later. And that's